So studies have identified 4 different types of parenting. So let's go over them right now and see if you can see yourself in any of them.
Yay!
So the first parenting style is the uninvolved parent. As it says, they're uninvolved with how the child is getting on. Maybe they just have a really busy job, a busy life. They just don't have time for their child. Or maybe they were treated this way and think this is the right way to go ahead of parenting. Or maybe there's something wrong. Maybe they have an imbalance, chemical imbalance themselves, which really stops them from connecting emotionally to their child. And the child will often realize no matter what they do, how much effort they put in, no one really pays them any attention anyway. And this works on both sides. Doing something good, no one's interested. Doing something bad, no one's interested. Now this can lead to the child seeing themselves in a negative light, meaning that they themselves can struggle in the future to really attune or connect in relationships. And with this type of parenting, there are a couple of benefits. Unfortunately, there are only a couple. And the first one is, of course, the child's going to be so much more independent because they've had to do everything on their own. And of course, that means being self-sufficient. But that's really about it. And then we have the permissive parent. If my child wants to stay up until 3 p.m. playing video games, that's fine. If my child wants me to keep feeding them until they're 12 years old, that's fine. If my child wants ice cream, then ice cream they're having. The permissive parent doesn't want their child to go through any stress or conflict. So if the teacher calls in the parent and says, your child did this, the permissive parent's going to say, it's your fault. My child is not in the wrong. So growing up without any boundaries or growing up without ever having to deal with conflict can lead to not understanding your own emotions, specifically the anger you can get. Which means in the future, that anger which you don't understand can now be directed to maybe a partner in a relationship, which means you can't connect in that relationship. And if your whole life you've been handed everything on a silver platter, when you come into the real world and you don't get what you want, Mr. Sore Loser comes to mind. So the benefit of permissive parent is simply there's never going to be any arguments in the house because the child gets everything they want anyway, so there's nothing to argue about. But the cons, simply if that child's got everything they've always wanted on a silver platter, when they go into the real world, maybe they go into their own relationship, that's setting up problems of arguments, because we see these people as the entitled type of person, expecting everything from everyone and giving nothing back themselves. And now the authoritarian parenting style. If you don't stop crying, I'm going to give you something to cry about. Talk back to me again and you'll feel the back of my hand. You two, stop doing that or I'll bang your heads together. So in order to get through the day, the child realizes the only way to have a nice day is to be totally compliant and obedient to their parents. Now the authoritarian parent does have a great belief in strict discipline and obedience. Maybe they were brought up this way themselves and see this as the way to raise children. So if you come from an authoritarian type parenting, it simply means that you understand getting through is obeying, is serving other people, is behaving how they want you to behave, which means later in life, you never behave the way you want to. You never get the things you want because you're too busy doing what everyone else wants you to do. And the pros for authoritarian type parenting are simply the child will understand what discipline means, for sure, but they'll also have a great work ethic. I think that's about it. Now the authoritative parent values communication and respect over control and obedience, setting clear and reasonable boundaries to encourage independence, decision making and emotional connection for their future. So there are a few ways why someone may become an authoritative parent. 1, this is how they were brought up and realised the benefit of it. 2, maybe they were brought up by a different parenting style and did not see the benefit in how they were brought up. Or 3, they've done lots of research and found this is a great way to parent their child. The downside is that this could take a lot of time to put in place. And of course it may conflict with other styles of parenting. Your child should respect this way. But the benefits include fostering emotional and social development, building a strong positive relationship between parents and children. So did you see yourself in any of those parenting styles? And which one would you say was best? Or do you think that you need a bit here and a bit there, and depending on the circumstance as to what I put in my parenting style, as long as there's no punishment through hitting or abuse or shaming? So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe so I can make more of these videos knowing I'm on the right path just for you. And watch the video on this screen next to find out more about a specific age group in child development. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out some of my other videos. I'll see you real soon.